Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the 31 Days of Horror. I am your host Mood616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yeah, day 14 is here, and I've got a film here from 2015 that surprisingly I knew absolutely nothing about. Now, I gotta give a big shout out to my man Matt, aka You and Your Horror Movies. He's one of my best friends on here, and he actually pointed me in the way of this film a few months back. And the odd thing about that is that this is a French-Canadian film, and myself being Canadian, I'm not French at all, but me being Canadian, I generally know about a lot of Canadian films that are coming out. This one completely slipped way underneath my radar. Anyways, thank you, Matt, for pointing me in the direction of this film, because otherwise I probably wouldn't even have known about it. Who knows? But anyways, the film in question from 2015 is called Le Scavenger. I can't speak French. It's translated into Death Dive. Look at that cover art right there. Look at that killer in that deep sea diving suit. Pretty awesome stuff. But yeah, once again, Matt, thank you for pointing me in the directions. I still don't know how the hell you found out about this one before I did. But anyways, getting into the premise of this one, basically it opens up with the Coast Guard. They've found this ship that appears to be abandoned in the ocean. So they start to investigate a little bit. They don't see any action on it, so they decide to, jump on the ship. And what they find is the whole crew has been massacred. I mean, like limbs everywhere. Everyone's dead. Some pretty cool scenes, actually. Anyways, so an investigation gets launched by the police, and this young reporter, who has also done reports in the past. She lives in this small kind of fishing community, this shipping community, and she's done pieces on some of the local salvagers in the past. And so with the help of a couple of her friends, they start to do some investigating. And while they're doing investigating, people on land start getting picked off one by one by this killer right here. And so they start to do a little more investigating, and what they come to is basically the people that are getting picked off might be linked to the ship that went down about 100 years ago called the Princess of the North. And so they continue their investigations, and that's your film. So my thoughts on this one, this is a pretty interesting and unique slasher film on all levels. I have to say the script of this film is actually pretty good. It's more or less like a giallo film. It's more focuses on the investigative portion of the film. And with that said, it's not like it doesn't have the kills to go along with it and stuff, but it's more of an investigative slasher film instead of just kills with a little bit of investigation. It's more about the investigation, which is really cool because it's very interesting. There's a lot of interesting characters in this film, and a lot of things that are going on. So I really enjoyed the script, which is something you can't say a whole lot when you're watching slasher films. You generally just watch them for the kills. That's kind of what we do. But this one was an interesting film. I have to say, man, the cinematography in this film was really good too. I was very shocked when I popped in this film. I was expecting something a lot more low budget, so I actually had to look up the budget on this one, and it says it was made for about $1 million, which actually kind of makes sense. I mean, that's not a low budget film, that's not a high budget film, it's kind of a medium budget film, but which makes a lot of sense because it looks really good. It looks like they took the time, they went out and did shot in some pretty cool locations, and used real ships and things like that. With the exception of, the only kind of downfall of this film is that they CG'd the underwater shots of the submarines and things. I think that was really kind of the one downfall of this film. I still don't understand why, because they even show them coming out of the water, which is fine. I don't know why they just didn't take the time to do that underneath the water, but it does kind of stick out when you're watching the film. But yeah, leading into the effects of this one, I thought the kills were really fantastic. Really good stuff. All practical effects. Very, very bloody, pretty gory. But I love the killer because he's dressed in this deep sea diving suit right here. And it's awesome because if you know anything about these type of suits, they're super heavy. Like, it just seems almost inhuman to be wearing something like this on land and walking around and killing people. So it kind of adds this element of like, what the fuck? Like, seems really crazy. He uses like this little short kind of axing, and he severs off people's limbs and heads and things. It's pretty awesome, man. I gotta say, very bloody and gory. Wasn't expecting that at all. The body count is pretty high in this, actually. It's kind of maybe above average body count and stuff. But for a film that only runs about 80 minutes, this one just kind of chirps itself along at a great pace also. And it's partly due to the very interesting story, because I love, how the investigative aspect of it kind of leads you into all these type of characters. There's one character that nobody likes in the film. He likes to salvage He does it legally, but he salvages ships and, you know, takes all the belongings and things like that. And a lot of people don't like it. So you got this kind of character, and there's all these other type of characters that kind of make up the story that is very interesting. Now, the thing that kind of separates this movie from the average slasher film is probably the third act. Now, the third act in this film is insane. There's this scene where there's kind of a standoff between the killer and, you know, that guy that no one likes, that one salvager, and all of his employees, all his cronies and things like that. Well, they pull up in this Chevy truck, and I shit you not, this is the most Canadian fucking thing I've ever seen in a film. They pull up in this Chevy truck with the spare tires on the front, and there's a moose rack strapped to it. I just started laughing so hard. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Can you get any more cliched than that? But anyways, there's this great scene. They're having this standoff with this guy at the end here, and then all of a sudden, out of the fucking blue, you get a whack load of zombies. Zombie attack. It's crazy. I do have to say it because I really wanted to talk about the zombies. They looked fantastic. The makeup effects on the zombies were awesome. They looked really damn good. They took a lot of time putting these zombies together and making them look like they just came out of the water and shit like that. I thought that was really damn cool and kind of an interesting twist to the film. Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was really fantastic. It doesn't overstay its welcome whatsoever. You know, at 80 minutes, it definitely, you know, kind of holds its own in that time. But a very interesting film, and I think everyone should check this out. If you're a big fan of slasher films, definitely give it a shot, man. It's got everything going for it. It's got a great script, great acting. It's shot very well. The effects are practical. It's got a very interesting killer, and it's got a really gnarly third act, which very rarely happens in these type of films. But give it a shot, man. It is in French, so it is subtitled. You are going to have to read this film, but it's not overly that hard to follow. I mean, let's be real here. It's still a slasher film at the end of the day, so... But Le Scavenger, I don't know, I just like saying it like that. Also known as Death Dive. Give it a shot, man. I really, really enjoyed this film. Thank you once again, Matt, for recommending this film. Thought it was just a fucking blast. I mean, it's not very often that you get to see a film with a unique killer like this, and zombies, and just all these kind of weird ass characters, or these kind of quirky, interesting characters with a good storyline. It's cool, man. So if I had to rate this one, I'm going to give this one a solid 7.5 out of 10. I think it's definitely worthy of that rating, you know. So give it a shot. Very, very cool stuff. You can find this one. It's very readily available. I mean, like I said, Matt found it before I did. So I probably paid a little bit more than he did for this one, because oddly enough, things in Canada are more expensive to buy from your own country. I don't know. Anyways, guys, 7.5 out of 10. Give it a shot. Very, very cool film. Highly enjoyed it. That is going to do it here for day 14. I'll check you guys tomorrow in day 15, and we're almost at the midway point here. Hope you guys are enjoying, and as usual,